Right, let's move to this now. So the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal says while there are disagreements in the government of provincial unity, it's confident that the coalition government will stay the course. There have been a tension between the coalition partners, with the ANC expressing unhappiness over the DA's decision not to back its motion against KwaDuguza Mayor Lindile Naqa. KZN ANC Secretary Bheki Mtolo is with us now. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Mtolo. I'm really quite interested in the wording that is being used by the ANC. Many of us are reporting that we're characterizing it as tensions within the government of provincial unity. What are the words that you use as you confidently say that the coalition will find its feet?
No, thanks. Good evening and good evening to your viewers. What we are trying to say is that in simple terms, the coalition for now, since June 2024, has worked very well in KwaZulu-Natal in terms of the government of provincial unity, which involves ourselves, the African National Congress, Inkatha Freedom Party, the Democratic Alliance, and the National Freedom Party. Of course, we note that within this working relationship, which is good, which has provided one of the stable governments, provincial governments in the country, but also it's got some challenges because, of course, there are inherent contradictions between ourselves and the DA of the constituency stands, but also our broad ideological differences between ourselves and the DA, but also note that at a broader recognition that we must serve the people of KwaZulu-Natal, we must grow the economy, we must create jobs, we must provide service delivery, we must lead a clean and uncorruptible government. At least we agree on those matters, both ourselves, the DA, the IFP, and the NFP. But we also know that within the IFP, not the IFP per se, there's an MEC in the form of Thulasizwe, MEC Honorable Thulasizwe Buthelezi, whom we think because it's the first time he's exposing himself in the executive of the provincial government, which comes with a lot of pressure and all that. I think for now we're starting to chase the headlines, to be the newsmaker and all that. But we believe that the IFP, as an old party of 49 years, it may have capacity and capabilities to rein him in and try to channel him on how government work, especially because all those parties that are in the provincial government of provincial unit in KwaZulu-Natal, none of the parties have won outright to govern alone, and then we must respect that. I think, for example, us as the ANC, we have proven that we are committed to the government of provincial unity, both in terms of words we say and in terms of practical steps. We have never undermined any party in the government of provincial unity, but we have noted that at some point DA does undermine us because of its belief of white supremacy and all that. But we also know that in the DA, not everybody is bad. For example, the MEC for Finance, Ms. Frances Rogers, who is the leader of the DA in the province, we can safely say Rogers is a very civilized man, is a man who's reasonable, but within the DA, there are those rogue elements who think they are still superior, which we will manage as we go. But fairly well, we can say the government of provincial that works very well. It's just that we have to iron out those few issues that they seek to derail the provincial government because of minor issues sideways that are being brought in how the government is run.
I mean, one of the key questions is going to be what mechanism you're going to use to iron those issues out at national level. You've got the president having set up the clearinghouse mechanism for dispute resolution, and that's another discussion. But I want to sit with the points that you've raised around Thulasizwe Buthelezi, saying some of the complaints that you've put forward is he's plastered his face on government assets, he's made threats to dissolve traditional leaders, threats to terminate employee contracts of EPWP programs. Talk to me about what you want to see the IFP do about some of the issues that you've raised around Thulasizwe Buthelezi, considering also the constituency that he quite or very much holds in the province when you consider that he is Prime Minister of the Zulu Nation.
Yeah, remember, that's what you need. When you've got many caps, the mistake that you can do is to not know where the cap get used and all that. For example, if I'm a mayor, let's take about myself. At some point, I was the mayor of Kokstad, but I was a member of the school governing body in a school called Kokstad College in Kokstad. in KwaZulu-Natal under Herikwana district. But I would understand when I'm performing my duty as a member of the school governing body, I had no stage where I intimidated the principal, I intimidated the chair of the school governing body, or any using my cap as a mayor. I would know that when I go to the school governing body, the cap of a mayor is put aside. I'm going there as a member of the school governing body and interacting with members of the school governing body at an equal basis. Because the day I will use my mayorship position to intimidate members of the school governing body, it means I don't understand the rule. In fact, I don't deserve to be a member of the school. Same as MEC Buthelezi, we trust that he's not a new politician, he's been there. He would understand that now he's an MEC of KwaZulu-Natal KZN Copter. He would not, when issues are raised on his conduct in terms of how he discharges his responsibility as an MEC, when he can't engage us at that level, he therefore use the position of being a traditional prime minister to the monarch and Zulu nation, because that won't only undermine the government, how government works, but also will also undermine the Zulu nation, that he is using the position to benefit himself in government, which I don't think the king, his Majesty the king, and the Zulu nation will want him to undermine that position to that level.
Okay. Have you crunched the numbers, though, as you have raised concerns around Thulasizwe Buthelezi, who is a prominent figure within the IFP? So should the relationship with the IFP and the ANC sour, they hold 15 seats in provincial legislature. You've got the DA sitting with 11, so that speaks to those relationships being really important for the ANC. If those relationships don't hold on, are you leaning back on a conversation, if at all, with the MK party that sits at a comfortable 37?
No. Remember, the ANC's got a position. The ANC's position is very simple, is that remember, the ANC, after elections, it developed a guiding document on how should we approach the participation of government, especially to the areas where we don't constitute a simple majority, which is 50% plus one, starting from national government and other provincial government, especially Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal, and Northern Cape and Western Cape. Then Northern Cape. Then the ANC said the party that has got more seats is the party that must invite other people to form government. In KwaZulu-Natal, we have no authority to invite people to form government, because you would know we are not the party that has got the most votes, we are the third party. We are waiting to be called. That's why we always clarify to our people that it is not us who has sidelined the so-called MKP party of Ubaba Nqamalala.
Okay, Mr. Mtolo, yeah, apologies for stepping in there, just in the interest of time. So then, if you speak about that hierarchy, and at the top of the list, the party with the most numbers would be the MK party in KwaZulu-Natal. Are you essentially saying to me that ANC and KZN is waiting for a call from the MK party?
MK party has never called us. They've remember when they were doing it very professional, by the way. Credit to them. They were writing to each and every party who they wanted to form government. They wrote to the IFP, they wrote to the NFP, and they wrote to the EFF, but they never wrote to the ANC. And the ANC was invited by the IFP. And when we were invited by the IFP, and then the IFP invited DA, it also invited the NFP. Then we were participating as invitees in the government of provincial unit of KwaZulu-Natal. Then in no way we can determine what happens in KwaZulu-Natal. We remain invitees. Then it can't be our problems of why the MK is out. They've chosen that path because they miscalculated. They thought because they got so much hatred towards the ANC, they assumed that everybody in KwaZulu-Natal hates the ANC. And then they were faced with the egg in their faces that not everyone hates the ANC except themselves.
All right, very interesting. Well, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Mr. Bheki Mtolo there is, of course, the ANC Provincial Secretary General in KwaZulu-Natal.